We got something. We got something.
I ain't never seen no shit like that in the sky in my life.
With all that's happening around us, is it hard to believe we might not be alone?
We were all mentally exhausted by whatever that was. It was the biggest UAP we've seen so far.
Gleaming lights zipping through the sky at speeds no aircraft could match.
So as I was looking through the viewfinder, suddenly I saw a green light and start moving fast. This is really quite unique because of its elongated size.
Objects moving in ways that challenge our understanding of physics. The tale is as old as time, but the proof is
I suppose
new.
it could be something extraterrestrial.
Whoa. Did you see that weird triangular thing floating in the sky over Andorra? That's some wild stuff right there. I've got to say, that's not your typical UFO sighting. Usually when people report seeing unexplained aircraft, they're talking about classic flying saucer shapes or just amorphous lights. But this is next level. A full-on defined triangle just hanging out up there? That's just plain bizarre. Of course, without more info, it's tough to say for sure what exactly that thing is. Could be legit, could be a hoax. But either way, it's a pretty wild visual. Definitely not your standard UFO fare. The hills have eyes. What if aliens have been stalking the Earth for decades and have only managed to escape our eyes because they've picked out the perfect hiding spot? Like positioning a secret alien base atop a hill by the sea. It's not only one UFO landing there. Seeing another pick up the pace and follow behind means aliens aren't just here to sightsee. They're probably collecting intel and are actively traveling across time zones and light years to expose our secret affairs. TR-3B.
Você não tá vendo nada aí, filho. Você tem que ver aqui na máquina.
There's a theory that it's not only life on other planets that's trying to connect to Earth. Our very own US government is also dabbling with spaceship technology. The TR-3B is a large triangular aircraft with unusual capabilities, including the ability to perform impossible maneuvers. Some claim it's a top-secret government project, while others believe it's evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Well, if this is something that was shaped by the government, you better buckle up because it's certainly going to be a wild ride. Italian visit. On April 29, 2007, residents in Italy experienced the unimaginable. The UFO they'd been seeing in cartoons and taking as something that doesn't really exist appeared right before their eyes as it navigated the sky. Chaos ensued. People began recording, hoping their flimsy camera could do the UFO justice. And thus came one of the most significant videos in all of UFO's history. What makes this Italian UFO special is that despite making the news, nobody has been able to pinpoint what on earth this really is. There weren't any aircrafts flying in that area at that time. Nor was this some sort of government experiment. Southshore. For all those people wondering why UFOs only hit up America, well, here you go. This UFO was recorded flying over the beach in South Africa back in 2003. Of course, while tales of UFOs have always plagued our cartoons, we've never really thought too much about them. Not to mention technology was certainly a bit shabby back then, so you can imagine how locals felt when they spotted an extraterrestrial casually streaking their skies. As it dwindled over the waves, it sparked a lot of confusion and theories. Perhaps it was proof that aliens have always been with us. Or maybe this was a one-time visit, and the alien wasn't able to escape our eyes. Flicker Fling.
I suppose it could be something extraterrestrial.
Believe it or not, this isn't AI. It's actually something that was spotted flying over a neighborhood in Brazil. Initially, the people recording this were sure they'd just captured some sort of aircraft, presumably a new one that was being tested. But its unusual movements and even more bizarre shape are part of what they realize this can't just be a usual aircraft. The UFO's attempt to blend in with the clouds is definitely suspicious too. Is it trying to sneak out or sneak in? We won't know that, but hey, at least now we know we aren't alone. Curtibia's mystery. On July 7th, locals in Curtibia, Brazil were left in complete awe after spotting a massive orb hovering silently above the city. The sheer size of this unidentified craft is simply mind-boggling. Eyewitnesses claim it was easily the size of a bus, if not bigger. The footage of this jaw-dropping sighting is quickly making the rounds on social media, sending shockwaves through the UFO enthusiast community. Conspiracy theorists are working overtime, trying to determine if this could be proof of extraterrestrial visitation or some top-secret military technology. Peculiarity Bound. A strange UFO was recently spotted flying over the city of Miami, Florida. Footage has emerged showing a peculiar unidentified craft silently gliding through the sky above the urban landscape. The object appears unlike any conventional aircraft, leaving onlookers perplexed about its nature and origin. Its unique shape and effortless movement have sparked speculation among the community. Could this be evidence of advanced technology? Or perhaps something even more extraordinary? The sighting has certainly captured people's attention, raising questions about what this mysterious flying phenomenon might be. It's an intriguing occurrence that has left many in the Miami area wondering just what they witnessed in the skies above their city. Government indulgence. Well, at least now you know what the unidentified object floating in the sky looks like. Seriously, if aliens are becoming brave enough to openly fly and land like this in front of us, shouldn't we be scared? Because that means they're finally becoming active and moving for world domination. Of course, while this flying saucer is remarkably spooky, it's also the reason many people are eyeing the government. You see, with the way things are going, many believe the government is either actively interacting with other life forms, or they've designed a UFO of their own to go up. Oof, honestly, that's quite believable. Costa Rican trouble. Yep, this is no umbrella losing its way in the wind, nor is it some sort of weather balloon. Although it might be the first time you'd hope it's something like that. You see, aliens and UFOs were no longer strangers to them. But what makes this mystery floater is so utterly creepy is that protruding needle-like thing. What the heck does it do? Some sort of mechanism to help it float? Or something much more sinister? Ugh, I don't even want to know. Cylindrical Odyssey. A zap of bright light, and you think it's just a bad day, but then something glints in the sky. Focus up and you'll see a mystery object slowly darting across. A bird? A plane? A weather balloon? No, they're all too consistent, too elegant to match the movement. Yes, it's hard to see, but after this was recorded, the cameraman went home and zoomed in, enhanced the footage, and yikes! A cylindrical UFO! Even if you were trying to argue this isn't something alien, what else could it be? Especially now that we're getting a close look. Glint in the dark.
William.
Sorry for the quality, but this video is worth watching. Filmed in 2007, a couple of mountaineers in Costa Rica captured a flying saucer floating over the abyss. Despite its age, it's considered one of the best UFO visuals. Initially, many claimed it was a prank with a pan lid on a thread. But this was debunked since the UFO moves in a way that would be hard to control manually. It's also angled where you'd have to float above it to hold it. The glare is unusual too, not reflecting sunlight like metal. Here's a closer look. Not so fake now, is it? Cloud match.
What the fuck is that? Like, that is the...
You know that theory that clouds are really just a cover for UFOs? Well, here's your concrete proof. It looks like the UFO sensed it was being recorded too, so it quickly dove in behind the billboard. That didn't stop it from being recorded, of course, but it looks like the cameraman got the message. Too bad whoever recorded this couldn't follow through, or else we know this is pretty convincing. Biblical mirror. You'll never believe what these people captured. That's right, just as they were finishing up for the day, they noticed something peering up at them from behind the clouds. Thankfully, they had the latest phones and were able to zoom in and wow! Yep, no matter how you look at it, it's incredibly jarring. Now, a couple of folks said it was a drone, but it doesn't really look like that. The odd shape is something we're seeing for the first time. Also, doesn't it remind you of something? Perhaps a biblically accurate angel? A coincidence or some sort of inspiration? Yeah, we're not too keen on finding out. Skylight. This is one of the most convincing UFO videos you'll ever see. Let's praise the cameraman for not messing up the visual, because we can now see for ourselves what most UFOs look like. It's clear there's something living inside it. Why else would it have a cockpit-like cabin on top that's lit up from the inside? No idea what this UFO is doing in a classy neighborhood, though. Perhaps floating over houses is its way of collecting intel. That's unsettling. Tick-tock foe. What you're seeing up there isn't just something peeking in and out of the clouds, hoping to camouflage against them. Crane your neck a little higher and you'll see it's some sort of aircraft, one that just emitted a bright flash. Well, when this first appeared over the skies in Alabama, most people were convinced this was some sort of advanced technology. But if that were true, the owner would definitely claim it. But there's been no such talk. Now, UFO enthusiasts are claiming the bright flash could mean there's been an abduction. If so, who and why? Mexicana. Folks down in Mexico spotted something pretty wild in the sky last month. Reports say a mysterious flying object was seen emitting these vibrant purple lights. Can you imagine just looking up and seeing that? Some might chalk it up to some advanced military technology, while others might wonder if it's proof of extraterrestrial activity. Without any official explanation, it's the kind of thing that sparks the imagination. I don't know about you, but if I randomly looked up and saw a glowing purple UFO, I'd be pretty dumbfounded. Mexican OVNI. Folks living in a residential and commercial district in western Mexico City were left puzzled back in 1997 after reportedly spotting a strange, unidentified flying object hovering above their neighborhood. Witnesses described the craft as having a classic flying saucer shape, silently gliding through the sky for several minutes before rapidly ascending and disappearing from view. The unexpected UFO sighting sparked considerable interest and debate within the local community. Some speculated the aerial phenomenon could be evidence of extraterrestrial technology, while others argued it may have been some kind of secret military aircraft. The 2013 sighting. We've been wondering about UFOs and alien visits, and well, who knew one of the greatest visuals was sitting under our noses all this time? This was filmed back in 2013 by an American couple, which explains why the quality is so spotty. So naturally, there have been so many theories about it being fake. But just know, this is so huge and strange that it would be incredibly creative. Heck, even a bit out of reach for something like this to be manipulated. We've got to believe it, especially when you see what follows. Yep, this has to be one of the most advanced UFOs we've seen. Silver Surfer.
I was watching the Eclipse, then I saw this.
Wait till you see this. Yep, just as the sun was finally starting to crown during the total eclipse of 2024, somebody recorded a mysterious object entering Earth's space. Now, while we could quickly chalk it off to a meteor, that's not the case. If you pay a little bit attention, you can see it's some sort of craft with a humanoid, or at least the shadow of one attached. It's quite similar to Gookie's Nimbus, isn't it? Which is why people are taking this visual as proof that super scions exist. Caver's fear. And this is exactly why we've been hearing stories of UFO visits for decades, but haven't found much proof until now. The UFOs have simply been setting up bases in discrete locations around the world. And since only a couple of spelunkers go out to explore caves, they know setting up a lair in any one of them is a great idea. The video quickly cuts off, so we don't really know what happened. Perhaps the cameraman was apprehended for this video, or maybe they just don't want to give out too much information. Eclipsean. As the entire world gathered to witness one of Mother Nature's finest stunts, the total solar eclipse on April 8, 2024, something strange shot up in the sky. Thankfully, due to multiple people recording the event, we've got a visual. The two blips that quickly cross the area aren't just weather balloons caught up against the wind. Slow the visual and you can see that although a bit blurry, these are definitely some sort of saucer-shaped craft. Now, it's obvious whoever's manning the wheel decided to emerge during the eclipse to escape our eyes. But it's just so unlucky they got caught instead. The Hilltop Story. You've got to hand it to the aliens. Not only are they cunning enough to land on Earth without us even noticing, they've set up lairs in some of the most remote parts of the world. Like this Mexican jungle, which is so thick it practically is unreachable, unless you decide to chop off all the trees. Now, that orb could have been explained as a blimp or something like that, but since it's presumably flying over that part of the jungle, you know it isn't really one. And since it landed right into the trees, we'll never know what it really is. Indonesian Saucer. UFOs don't always take up Mexican or American airspace. They've been reportedly sighted thousands of miles away too, in places like Indonesia, where this sky trooper was floating so seamlessly, most folks were inclined to believe it's some sort of prank. I mean, UFOs out in the open? In broad daylight? That means either they're finally embracing freedom, or they've got sinister plans and don't want to hide out in the open anymore. A few did think this could be AI, but experts weighed in and are sure this footage is legit. Brazil's Skyrocket. Just a year ago, Brazilian residents captured this anomaly taking off. Literally. Now calm down, we aren't saying it's for sure an alien spaceship, but honestly, have you got any other theories? We know no aircraft would fly like this, and although countless pilots are capable of, they won't be just casually taking off like this in a random Brazilian city. Which brings us to the main point. If it's not some crafty invention by man, what is it? We're seeing more and more proof of aliens existing, and it looks like we finally got something that stumps us all. Blinkengram.
I ain't never seen no shit like that in the sky in my life.
What you're staring at isn't some big street light or an airplane passing by. It's also not a theme park ride hiding in the fog. This bright collection of orbs or floating lights was spotted by numerous people, rumored to have followed them in the sky. But only one was able to get a good look and capture it, so we can see what it is. Well, the best we can come up with is that it's some sort of alien device. One that's not too embarrassed to stalk you like that. Cylinder UFO. Countless people have reported seeing cylinder-like objects quickly zip past them for a long time. Cylinder UAPs, or UFOs, have been nothing but a big myth. But now we've got proof that these really do exist. Although, why they're stalking the ocean like their life depends on it is a big question mark. This isn't just the only time it's been captured on camera, too. A couple of times, pilots have successfully recorded seeing this cylinder, and it happened once with the Air Force, too. So you know that whatever's going on, the government isn't involved. At least, not for now. Charlatan Flight.
Oh my God, Peter!
When you see aliens popping in for a visit from your backyard, you know all those theories about alien invasions have some truth to them. This was first uploaded on Reddit, where the homeowner was hoping to find some answers. But turns out there were more questions in wait. Not only did multiple people come forward about having seen this, they also confirmed this wasn't a collection of drones or anything of the sort. Some speculated that whatever kind of this UFO was, it had to be as big as a football field. The UFO disappeared after a while, so nobody knows what happened. Disneyland's Visitor. On August 11, 2023, visitors in Disneyland noticed a faint hint of light floating in the sky. Since Disneyland is no stranger to light shows and laser beams, most people ignored it. But one eager visitor kept recording because there was just something off about it. It flew much, much higher than any of the rides there, so you know it can't be that. It seemed to have been trying to cloak itself under the darkness to escape us. But luckily we did get a good view. Strangely, such sightings often pair up at Disneyland, but with no idea what they are. Metamorphosis. You know a UFO sighting is serious when it makes the news. One mind-boggled passenger noticed something flying right by their plane window, so they picked up their phone. And well, this is the result. Don't feel tempted to laugh. This is really creepy. There's no cloud, blanket, balloon, or camera flare that could change shape like this. It even looks like an angel for a moment. We don't really know what angels look like, but it resembles the images we've had for ages. We have to admit, this is something we don't understand, and we're not sure it's from our planet or atmosphere. Dresden. You won't believe what people saw in the skies over Dresden, Germany the other night. On July 22nd, around 6 p.m., a bright UFO suddenly appeared and started hovering silently. Locals couldn't believe their eyes when the weird craft just sat there for a while before shooting off at crazy speed. It was gone in the blink of an eye. People were totally stunned, and the video taken by one witness has the UFO fans going nuts. They're saying this is one of the most unusual sightings they've seen. Glowfo. On a clear, sunny afternoon in a small Midwestern town, locals were left in awe after spotting a massive glowing disc-shaped object hovering silently in the sky. The unidentified craft, estimated to be the size of a bus, captivated onlookers for several minutes before rapidly ascending and vanishing. The sheer size and brightness of the unidentified craft captivated the onlookers, who were worried they witnessed an advanced military prototype. Though the witnesses were uncertain whether the UFO was an advanced piece of technology or something extraterrestrial in origin, the sighting has sparked intense speculation within the community. Russ Landa's myth. From a distance, you'd think this is just a carnival ride spinning at a high angle caught on the camera. But the more it moves, the more you realize this isn't just a teacup gone crazy. This appeared just a couple of months ago over Russia, where residents instantly began comparing the mystery floater to conspiracies. While some think it's just a casual trip on Earth by an eager alien, others compared the UFO to a biblical angel. Yeah, they really did. Ultimately, most folks couldn't figure out what it is, except that it's probably not good news. Spectre Trouble. We give saucer-shaped UFOs too much credit. It's flying objects like these we should really worry about. I mean, come on. You can try to explain what this is, except you can't. No matter how you look at it, it's an unusual object that's not only flying in the sky, it's clearly ablaze with something. Spectators assumed it was a bird that had simply lit up. But that's clearly not the case. You know what's weirder, though? This object was first seen in Havana, Cuba, but people saw it across the country. That means whatever this is made multiple cross-country trips, or was able to appear in different places at the same time. Italiana. On May 16, 2024, multiple tourists in Italy spotted a strange object flying over the forest in Italy. Initially, the object only struck them as some sort of drone, but then they began to notice how high it flew and how far it could go. Most drones have a limit to flight, and with the ease with which this one was moving, you know it's not your average gadget. And that's not even the tip of the iceberg. This Italian roaming device was seen by multiple people exploring different parts of the forest, so it had a pretty massive range. What do you think? An extraterrestrial contact or some sort of government spy tool? Colorado's problem. I know it seems like it's just a great day to be out, but keep a close eye on the clouds. And there you go. Now, I'm not much of a scientist, but pretty sure the wind doesn't make the clouds move like that. And if it isn't a cloud, what on earth could it be? Some sort of government tracking device? Sure, but this was seen in Fort Collins, Colorado. And if the government really does have a device like this, it would definitely be somewhere across the border. And don't you think it's a bit suspicious for this object to have the exact color and shape of a cloud? It's almost like it's trying to get by without being seen, which is pretty sketchy. UFO Grove. Yeah, this might not look that striking to you, but when the high-efficiency laser beam comes into play, you know things are turning. Now, if this was an airplane, like a couple of folks believe, it wouldn't have been able to quickly dodge out of the laser's path like that. It's also not an insect, since it's clearly much higher than the roof and still visible, which means whatever this is at least half the size of a Boeing. UFO enthusiasts are sure green lasers disrupt alien technology, which is why this one is so eager to get out. What do you think? Wood streaker. When something like this pops up over the woods behind your backyard, you can't just help but wonder, what the heck is that? This particular flyer is so unusual. It's got even UFO enthusiasts worried and confused. It's a bit too oddly shaped to be something crafted by man. And if this really is a UFO, it's the first one in history to have such a unique form. Speaking of which, how on earth is it able to fly up there with ease? Some really advanced technology that we've yet to accomplish? Or just plain old magic? Shergy. Two Italian hikers caught a metallic glint in the corner of their eyes. Curiosity got the best of them, so they decided to record whatever this is. You could have said this was just some random drone that just looks weird because of the camera, but that's a big stretch. This isn't just one object. It's clearly conspired with a similar UFO and then took off. Perhaps it's their way of sharing and exchanging intel? Or maybe even the aliens need something to protect them, which is why the smaller one's circling around like that. Mexican dance. It seems like Mexico's become a hub for space visitors. More and more people are coming forward with proof of UFOs. And now we've got this latest visual, first seen in April 2024. This UFO was reported multiple times by residents, so we know this wasn't just a first-time visit. And can we take a minute to talk about its appearance? It definitely looks like a fallen angel of some sort. And that's not a coincidence, is it? What if extraterrestrials are trying to mess with us by looking like this? Or maybe this is some sort of sign? I Spy. A couple of months ago, half of India went ablaze with rumors of some sort of spyware satellite encroaching the country's airspace. The object, slowly floating in the air as it scanned the forested hills nearby, had two wings that were supposedly keeping it afloat. When alerted, the authorities claimed this was, surprisingly, not an enemy satellite. And in fact, tracing it was proving an impossible task because it simply didn't show up on their radars. So, what we're seeing here is the only proof this flying object even exists. And that's quite suspicious. Somersault. Well, look who decided to take flying saucers a little too seriously and doled up exactly how we think they look. All jokes aside, this UFO caused quite a flurry of panic when it was spotted flying over the trees in British Columbia. Now, it's easy to chalk it off as fake, but where's the fun in that? In this day and age, is it really that hard to imagine aliens and species from other planets are going to be visiting us? Aren't we past all that? Crop circle mystery. Blaming crop circles on aliens isn't really a new theory. If you ask me, we haven't been blaming them enough. But what you're about to see is mind-blowing because you'll realize we weren't pulling these theories out of our, well, you know. Anyway, we've finally got proof that the pesky aliens really are the ones behind all this stuff. Now, alien enthusiasts have been trying to figure out why these aliens are doing this. Perhaps it's their way of making art. Or maybe they're marking their territory or something. Although we've solved part of the mystery, I hate thinking this is a normal activity. Cloud with a chance of UFO.
Você não tá vendo nada aí, filho. Você tem que ver aqui na máquina.
I know it's a bit shaky, but I don't blame the cameraman. They must have been quite scared after seeing this. And it looks like whatever it is ends up morphing? Or maybe teleporting? I have no idea what's going on behind that cloud, except it's definitely something out of this world. Seattle faction. A couple of months ago, numerous reports of an orb-like object quickly whizzing across Seattle's sky took over. Initially, most locals thought this was just one of those blimps that love taking tours of the city, but then started pouring in the theories. Many noticed its speed was far greater than a regular blimp. Others also pointed out how its skilled maneuvers weren't possible for a big inflatable. Now the question is, if it really is alien intervention, what possible thing could they want from Seattle?